What is up, everybody? It's your boy Rogue here. So in today's video, I just want to talk about trap cards and how they're making a comeback in Yu-Gi-Oh, man. I think it's something definitely interesting to talk about because we're still in the regional season and I'm starting to see these different cards and different players' deck lists, and it's definitely giving them an edge to when they go to set events. Before we get to the actual video, make sure you guys smash that like button and check out my description down below for my channel sponsors, Imperium Duelist for 10% off, and Yu-Gi-Oh Trading Card Man for all your Yu-Gi-Oh needs and purchases. And yeah, let's get into the discussion. So trap cards, bruh. I remember getting back into Yu-Gi-Oh 12 years ago now, and seeing trap cards everywhere. We had things like Solemn Warning, Torrential Tribute, Dimensional Prison, and eventually over time, trap cards started to fade out. Well, back here in 2024, I'm starting to see trap cards everywhere post the Crossword Breaker set release, and with the introduction of Ryzo and Malice, players are starting to experiment with a lot of different trap cards. It really originally started in the OCG because they had the stuff first. I was seeing players main decking things like Solemn Judgment, didn't understand why. Now also seeing main decking things like Iron Thunder. Now you guys might not know what Iron Thunder was or is, because I didn't know what it was either until I started doing research on this video and started seeing it in players' top 8 deck lists at regionals. And it's essentially a pseudo Solemn Judgment. The only difference is it doesn't negate the summon, it negates the monster effect, and then you destroy every card in the zone that the monster was summoned to. And that's really good for players to get the competitive edge over their opponent, because hitting things like hand traps are real, and that's what a lot of players are starting to do. My own personal experience with this, when I was at the regionals recently, 2 weeks ago at the Milwaukee regionals, where I almost got my invite, but I didn't. I lost round 7 against my boy Brandon in game 3, and one of the catalysts to me losing that game was Solemn Strike, which I'm seeing show up in a lot of players' deck lists right now. Solemn Strike was a card that was used back around 2015, 2016, and you pay 1,500 life points, negate the specimen of a monster, and or negate the effect of a monster. And a lot of players in their deck profiles that I'm starting to see are saying the card is worth the main deck, screw the side deck, because going second into today's format versus previous format with like Yugioh and like Fire, it's a lot slower. You're not just gonna get OTK'd, or you don't have to worry about a bunch of omni gates that your opponent set up. You're gonna have to worry about just layers and interruption. So if you're going second, you can kind of try to break your opponent's board, set your trap card, and then pass. That way you can have a Solemn Strike ready, a Solemn Warning ready, an Iron Thunder ready, so that way you can just worry about interrupting them mid-combo. And since these are counter traps, they're gonna be cooked because they can't respond to them. Very similar to things like Forbidden Droplet, which also, by the way, Solemn Judgment, being in players' main deck and their side deck nowadays, helps you against Forbidden Droplet and a lot of board breakers like Lightning Storm, Harpy's Feather Duster, and things of that nature. And like I said, the reason why this is starting to happen is because the game is a lot slower. I made a video on this, you guys check it out, called Yu-Gi-Oh is Healing. Very awesome discussion, a little 3-minute discussion talking about how the game has changed from previous formats, and I like it. Like, I personally like this Ryzo Malice format. Now I know everyone's saying, oh, I hate meta decks, I hate Ryzo, it's too OP. And I'm like, bro, that's BS. If you guys been paying attention to the current format we're in, rogue decks can win. My boy Jojo, shout outs to him, he just top 8'd the region with a freaking Buster Blader without all decks. My boy Brandon almost top 8'd the same regions with Ritual Be. So there's a lot of decks that can play under the current meta with unique tech cards that can win. Bring back my boy Jojo deck list. Ran like 10 to 15 trap cards in his main deck. One of the main cards that's really that was good interruption for him was the Rumor Cannon, I believe he was running in his deck. And that card flips, and that's another card people are main decking as well. That card flips everything face down, and then that things that don't go face down go to the graveyard. And guys know what don't go face down is? Link monsters. Guess what a Link deck is? Malice. So there's a lot of things people are thinking about using for the current metagame that's helping them get a competitive edge against the opponents. And I'm just looking at my phone right here because I want to make sure I got everything I want to talk about, because this is a lot of stuff and it's changing the metagame. I could definitely see a metagame moving forward as we progress. People experimenting with more cards like Torrential Tribute, maybe even some of the Trap Hold cards again. For us Ryzo players out there, that may even give Ryzo players a reason to run the Trap Tricks engine, so to go ahead and start abusing some of the Trap Tricks trap cards, because if you open these cards up, they're not that bad because you can just set one, don't make the Trap Tricks monster and pass. But if you do open them up, or you don't open them up, make a Trap Tricks monster, now you have an easy access to trap card in your deck that you can use on your opponent's turn with your Trap Tricks monster, and it also adds a bluffing factor as well. Like I said, I'm really loving this format. It reminds me of 2014 when I was doing really good at the game, playing decks like Gadgets, and it's very diverse. And I love seeing the experimentation with people's deck lists. Like I just saw Tenpai main decking 3 Solemn Strikes for the same freaking reason. It's not that bad going first. If you go a brick hand, you can set this, sit in your hand traps, and pass. At the very least, you can save it so that way when your opponent tries to special summon something, negate the special summon, and if you're in a top deck war, all you need is one card and you can come back and win. Things like Evenly Match, another awesome trap card, but that's more, in my opinion, it kind of falls under the hand trap lineup, where it's like, even though it's a trap card, it's not really a trap card. It's more of a hand trap card that you're going to use during the battle phase to wipe the opponent out. So in conclusion, man, I'm really loving this format. I'm having a blast playing with Ryzo, and not because the deck is just a meta deck, it's just a fun deck to play. Completely different from last format, because last format you couldn't run things like Solemn Judgment, you couldn't run things like Solemn Strike, Iron Thunder. Some people did experiment with the Solemn Judgment going first game 3 in decks like Yugioh, because in Yugioh, set up a bunch of Omni Negate, have one extra layer of protection. That's GG no re, well played. And I think moving forward, we're gonna start seeing a lot more main deck cards in the deck, like trap cards that we did see about 10 years ago when I first got back into the game. And we're definitely starting seeing different cards that's not trap cards come into the main deck that act similar to trap cards. Book of Eclipse is a good example. It kind of acts like a trap card because it's a quick play spell. It's very reactive to what the opponent can do, but people can set it on turn 1 and have a good defensive play for the following turn. Another good card that's coming back into play, Super Polymerization, kind of acts like a trap card, but not really, because it board wipes, it's a reactive in your opponent's turn, and it's something that's good that your opponent can't react to. So if you're playing the proper materials, it's GG no re, well played. You're gonna be having a fun time beating the opponent because they're not gonna be able to counteract what you're doing. So I think trap cards coming back is very good for the game. It's very healthy for the game. It's definitely showing where Yu-Gi-Oh is going, which, like I said, in my opinion, in previous videos, the game is in a good space. All we really need now is to get the prize structure fixed, and we're gonna have a very good time playing this card game. One thing I'm kind of concerned about it though is since trap cards are making a comeback, that means decks like Labyrinth can have a breath of fresh air again, because it is a trap card based deck. And if you're running a trap card based deck in a format where trap cards are good, ideally the theory is the deck should be solid. But the only thing is, hand traps are a thing as well, and that was the reason why people stopped running trap cards in the first place anyway, is because of the onslaught of hand traps. But what people are starting to discover with the stupid hand traps is, yeah, they're good, but a lot of times hand traps can break. If you run Mobile Charmers in your main deck, for example, which you should be running Mobile Charming Fuwalos, let's be real, especially in this current format. However, if you're on a top deck game, it doesn't do anything. It's just a free body and a waste of a normal summon to promote your whatever play you're trying to do. So as a recap, man, like I said, trap cards are making a comeback. I think this is great for the game. Don't be surprised that Konami is going to make more powerful trap cards in the future. Right now, I'm saying Solemn Strike, Solemn Warning, like I said, Iron Thunder. I won't be surprised if we see Solemn Warning again. And I'll say Strike. I meant to say Strike earlier, but I really meant Solemn Warning, because Solemn Warning is like probably one of the best trap cards, counter traps to run as well, alongside the Solemn package, because it negates special summons, and it also negates the effects of cards that promote special summons. So it's decent against the Malice matchup because you can negate that stupid trap card MT07 and any other stupid deck that runs spell cards or trap cards that can special summon a monster. So let me know what you guys think, man. Are you guys currently liking the current Yu-Gi-Oh format? Let me know. And it's your boy Rogue here, bringing us another Yu-Gi-Oh discussion, and I'm signing out. Peace. Hope you guys have a great Christmas, man, and Merry Christmas to everybody. Have a great day.